like to welcome you to the 2016 17th Judicial District Attorney Candidate Forum. We are joined today by two candidates that are running for district attorney. I will give you a quick agenda of what this evening will look like and also go over a couple of housekeeping things. So, first and foremost, on your way in, you should have received a note card. Does everyone have a note card? Good, good. This evening, candidates will answer questions from you. So we highly encourage you, if you have not already yet, please take your note card. If you have a question for the candidates this evening, write it down. A volunteer in a Can I Vote t-shirt. Alex, do you have a Can I Vote t-shirt? You wave your hand? Yes, all my Can I Vote folks in the house will come by and get your question from you. So all you have to do, once you're done with it, is just hold it up. All right. In addition, a couple other housekeeping things. If you can, please silence your cell phones and put them on vibrate for us. Bathrooms are located. Once you go out the main door to your left, there are steps there. You can go downstairs and to your left for bathrooms, or you can go upstairs and to the right for bathrooms. Okay. Our forum is scheduled to go to 7:30 this evening. I do have to ask that as the forum is conducted, please be respectful to both candidates. I do have to ask that we do not cheer for any candidates as well. The Colorado Criminal Justice Reform Coalition, we are a 501c3 nonpartisan nonprofit organization. Therefore, views expressed by the candidates this evening are not necessarily views of our organization or our co-sponsoring organizations, nor do we endorse either candidate that's participating in this evening's forum. The agenda for tonight. This agenda is going to be co-moderated. I am joined by my colleague and co-moderator, Ms. Alvina Vasquez. Our CCJRC staff is here. And I forgot to acknowledge, but it's very important that I acknowledge Legacy Christian Fellowship Church as a co-sponsor. And thank you for such an awesome venue. Okay, with that being said, last announcement. If there are candidates' campaign managers or campaign folks that are representing your candidate, we do have to ask, considering we are a nonprofit, that you please do not solicit any partisan material, information, or advertisement. This is an educational forum for educational purposes only. And with that being said, I'm going to now turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Alvina Vasquez, and she will introduce tonight's candidates.
Thank you, Justin. I'd like to introduce you to the candidates running for District Attorney for the 17th Judicial District, Addams and Broomfield County. Please welcome candidate Karen Datz and current incumbent District Attorney running for re-election, Dave Young. Both candidates will have 1 minute for an opening speech. Candidates will present in alphabetical order by last name, and then on the next question, they'll switch. Ms. Datz, you have 1 minute. Please begin.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate all the support. I want to thank all of the hosts for this evening's forum. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really happy to see everyone here. We are at a crossroads in this community right now where we can either continue to accept the status quo of the district attorney's office and its current leadership, or we can move forward together for new positive change. I bring various perspectives to the role of district attorney. I've been a criminal defense attorney, as a public defender. I've been a victim of crime myself. and I've been a prosecutor now for over 10 years. These are important perspectives to have in the role of the lead prosecutor of this county. And I'm asking for your support, and I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dave Young.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Young, your district attorney. I've been a prosecutor now for 25 years, and it's impossible for me to describe everything I've been through in 1 minute. But let me tell you, 25 years of experience comes into play with every decision I make as a district attorney. 90% of the decisions I make are reactionary to crime that you all read about in the paper. It's important to have experience to do the right thing on each and every crime that comes across my desk. And that's what the experience brings to this district attorney's office now. Not only that, I'm a mentor to all 68 attorneys in my office so that they can do the right thing and serve you the way that you should be served. I've learned this from my mother. My mother's a single parent, Spanish speaking only. She taught me at a very young age that you need to be honest and tell the truth and do the right thing. And I'm proud of the accomplishments that my office has obtained in the 3.5 years that I've been your district attorney. And I look forward to the next 4 years and accomplishing even more. And I thank you all for being here tonight, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you so much. Our first opening question. What do you think the community should expect from a good DA? Ms. Dax?
Thank you. I think the community should expect a number of things from a district attorney. First and foremost, always keeping in mind that the sole objective of a district attorney is to do the right thing. And that's the right thing by the community, it's the right thing by a victim, and it's the right thing by the accused as well. One of the reasons I've talked about my prior experience being so important is because when we're in the criminal justice system, we're dealing with human currency. We're talking about human beings who are coming into the system. And it's critical that everyone who comes into the system and has interaction with the criminal justice system feels respected, feels validated, and treated fairly. I also think that a district attorney is the sole role in the criminal justice system that has to work with utmost integrity, be transparent with the community, be communicative with the community, engage its community, and be responsive and open to criticism and active community partnership. Those are the roles that should be expected by the community of the district attorney, and that's what I will do when in office.
Thank you. Mr. Young?
As I go around knocking on doors and talking to community members during this campaign, it's very clear to me that public safety is their highest priority. They want to feel safe in their neighborhoods. They want to know that their kids are going to be safe when they go to school. They want to know that their kids are going to come home from school. They want to know that they have a DA's office that's going to hold those accountable that commit violent offenses. They want to know that a DA's office is going to give those people a break who deserve a break, the first-time offenders, the drug possession users, the white-collar crime individuals. We have a diversion office that keeps individuals out of the criminal justice system. Public safety means so much. It's holding those violent offenders accountable, taking them off the streets, but it's also being smart on crime, especially when it comes to juveniles. We are very smart on crime. We send most of our juvenile offenders to a diversion program, and I just learned this week that now our numbers are 95% success rate, but they will not reoffend. And that's what the community expects, because if we can catch them when they're a juvenile and keep them out of the criminal justice system, we're not going to see them as an adult. And that's what we're doing at the district attorney's office, and that's what I'm going to continue to do in the next 4 years.
Thank you. Thank you to both candidates. The second opening question, and each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond, and I do encourage the candidates to use the full 2 minutes. It's available to you. And in the second question, Mr. Young will go first. The question is, in order to be eligible for victims' compensation, a survivor is required to, 1, report the crime to police within 72 hours, and 2, fully cooperate with the prosecution. Since most crime is not reported or does not result in an arrest or prosecution, many crime survivors will never be eligible for victim services. What would you do to help these crime survivors get the services they need? Mr. Young.
Thank you. We have a victim compensation board here in the 17th Judicial District, and they are very liberal when it comes to giving compensation to victims of crimes. You don't have to have a defendant to get victims compensation in this jurisdiction. You need to be a victim of a crime and qualify. You don't even have to file charges for the victim to be eligible for victim compensation. The board looks at it, they evaluate it, and they make a decision as a group to decide whether or not that victim should be compensated. So I have to disagree with some of your question, because in the 17th Judicial District, we do everything we can to treat victims of crime with respect and dignity, and especially we try to make them whole, especially when it comes to funeral expenses. We've had 50 homicides in this jurisdiction over the past year. That's more than the city and county of Denver, and that's a lot of victims of crime. Not all 50 of those have been solved, not all 50 of those have been charged, but those victims have been taken care of through our Victim Compensation Board. I have the privilege of appointing members to the Victim Compensation Board. I try to get a diverse group on that board, and so that they can work together and make intelligent, informed decisions when it becomes time to compensate victims for their expenses. I'm very proud of the board, and I'm very proud of the work that they do.
Ms. Katz.
Thank you. Not sure my microphone mic on? Now? Okay, there we go. So I appreciate that question a lot. One of the areas that I specialize in currently is sexual assault prosecution in the 20th Judicial District, which is Boulder. I've been doing that the last 2.5 years, and I can tell you, working on it with survivors of sexual assault on a daily basis, the notion that there would be a 72-hour rule to report crimes, particularly those that are personal violence, is absurd. And so I'm also not familiar with the 72-hour rule, but if that's in place, that's got to go, because crime victims, we meet them where they're at, and they don't necessarily report immediately, certainly not in cases of interpersonal violence like sex assault. One of the concerns I have are the number of different barriers that we have in our community to people reporting crimes. One thing that I'm very committed to is getting out into the community and reaching those populations that are not familiar with our system, that are intimidated by reporting crime, and making every effort possible that we're reaching as many people as possible, so that people feel that they have a mechanism to go ahead and report their crime. One of the things I've been doing over the last 6 months is going into various groups through the Colorado Muslim Society or the Sikh community, and I've been speaking to them about bias-motivated crimes or hate crimes, because it is so important that we go to communities and say, this is what law enforcement can do for you. Here's how we can help you. And so I'm totally against any arbitrary notion that compensation would ever be dependent on an arbitrary timeline of when a crime is reported. That would absolutely need to change.
Thank you, Ms. Katz. And I do have to real quickly announce to the audience, if I may, and thank you again for providing questions to the candidates. However, we do have to inform you, considering this is an educational venue, and we're a C3, questions cannot be directed specific to one candidate. Both candidates have to get the opportunity to answer the question. So I apologize for not announcing that in the beginning, but I definitely wanted to now. At this phase, we are going to roll into... Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am. So all you have to do is, once you write your question down, the questions will be sorted because of time. We want to make sure that A, we're avoiding duplicate questions, and B, that we're trying to get as many questions in as we can. So please know we honor and acknowledge and thank you for providing questions. That screening is specific to our C3 permissibles. So it's not screening in reference to our opinion on a question. It's because we are a nonprofit, nonpartisan, therefore we have to screen the questions. But thank you for that acknowledgement. At this point in time, we are now going to begin the questions from the audience. Again, I will remind you that the candidates have 2 minutes per question, and I will pass it over to my colleague, Ms. Alvina Vasquez, for our first question from